few days ago, I released a video looking over all the upcoming banners over the next 6 months. Link in the description if you want to see that video in full and if you want to plan out yourself what you're going to be pulling for. This video, I want to go over my plan, what my next 6 months of pulling is going to look like. Hopefully, as long as things don't go too bad. Now this might get really nerdy and a bit too obsessive, but for me, this is a significant part of the game. I really enjoy planning out what I'm going to do with my resources, what I'm going to go for. If a game didn't have these choices where, you know, say new characters came out and everybody got them for free, like with some kind of fighting game or something, to me that wouldn't be anywhere near as interesting, even if the gameplay was the same. So to give some context of what I'm going to be going for, I'm going to show my account first, give a bit of an account tour. I created the account during the Rosmontis Mudrock banner. However, I didn't actually play it until I played, you know, maybe I logged in daily, collected the daily rewards. I think I did a few stages. I started playing a little bit more when the Code of Brawl rerun was happening. But the first event I actually completed, I believe, was Mansfield Break. And I remember actually beating the boss. And I have the character to the welfare character to almost full potential. That's one thing, even though I finished the event, I still didn't actually focus on the farming of the event. I didn't know at the time that different stages had different drop rates and that event stages were the best for farming. I completely ignored that, so I didn't even end up having enough resources to clear out the store, which is just obviously a really bad move. New players, focus on clearing out the store when there's an event, focus on farming those event stages. Don't be a noob like me. So in that time, I have managed to build up a pretty decent account. The account started with Exia from the starter banner. She was actually the only character I was aiming for. I just wanted Exia plus one other 6-star, one other decent 6-star. And that other 6-star that I ended up getting was Suzerain, who I got from the 10 free pulls on the limited banner. I didn't know how to re-roll properly. The method I was using for re-rolling was incredibly inefficient. So I found myself just going, you know what? They say she's a good character. She's a slower type unit, which I like in regular tower defense games. I can't be bothered re-rolling anymore. And honestly, I didn't think I was going to play the game for more than a couple of months anyway. Whatever, I'll just take it. I got the starter character I wanted, so I'll stick to that. The one thing I do know from my experience playing other gacha games, resources are limited. What you pull on really matters. Now, at the time, I didn't know that Arknights was much more generous than other gacha games. But even so, there are still limits in how much you can get in Arknights without spending any money. That's the one thing I did not make a mistake with. While I was a total noob, I was so aware of the fact that I didn't know what I was doing that I just refused to pull on any banner. Alright, so looking at the banners, I can see that I created the account during the Forget Me Not banner, which happened in May 2021. And then I didn't play it until around about July. Then I had saved up all of my pulls, and remember I was logging in collecting the dailies, which included the daily logins from the limited event. The first banner I pulled on was standard banner 41, and by that point I had maybe 140 pulls saved up, and this was everything I had, including all the OP and so on and so forth, and I was aiming for Serta. Very obviously, because she's said to be the best character in the game. A lot of guide videos, because I did have to use a few guide videos for the Mansfield Break event, because my account was so new, my characters were so weak, I was like, okay, I've got limited resources, what should I invest in to beat the event? And actually using those guides and realizing, oh, hang on, these guides are using a lot of seemingly weak characters. That's when I realized these lower star characters are actually really good. I shouldn't be so overly concerned with getting all the highest rarity characters and making use of what I've already got. And in those guides, very commonly, you'd see Serta. You know, the saying goes, and I learnt this very early, is when in doubt, just use Serta. Right, I'm going to save up everything. Next time she's on a banner, I'm going to pull for her. Luckily, she appeared on the same banner as Ifrit, which is another character that I wanted. By the way, this is going to get very rambly and the video is going to go quite long and it's completely off the cuff. This is more for the people who are interested or the more hardcore players who just like to hear these thoughts from fellow planners. So within about 40 pulls, I got Ifrit, which I was very happy about. About 50 pulls later, I get Weedy. Now, it's unfortunate that I did not get the character I wanted. And for a long time, I actually did not use Weedy. A lot of the commentarists on this character were saying, you really need to get the mastery up, because without the mastery, the knockback range is just not strong enough. Okay, well, there's no way I can do that early. So I neglected her for the longest time. And it wasn't until the most recent CC I got her all the way up to E2 plus mastery 3 on the second skill, and she carried the side lane for me. So then I kept pulling, and at this point I reached pity. I still had not pulled another 6-star, let alone Serta. And so every day I would do everything I could to get more pulls. Then about 160 pulls, the one pull that I had for the day, I got Serta. Excellent. I was really happy with that. My account was now off to a really good start. It was from that point on where I got really into the game. I got into the strategy of it. I started to really understand the depth the game had. And when a game grabs me, that's when I get really interested, and I'm thinking to myself, now I need to start planning. I need to start playing this properly. I need to go a little nuts with planning everything out. I then looked at all the characters that were available. I started looking at what was upcoming, and that's when I found out about the Rainbow Six collaboration. And I thought to myself, I absolutely 100% want to get Ashe. And I managed to get her on the very first pull, which was excellent. And then I did another 10 pull after that, and I got the other 2 characters. So that ended up going really well. The one incredibly lucky thing I had was before I got Ashe, there was the Hidden Moon limited banner, which had Saga and Dusk. Because I was going for Ashe, I could not invest any pulls in that banner. However, through crazy good fortune, on a free daily pull, I got Aya, who was the other character that I was saving up for. That is genuinely the luckiest thing that my main account has had. Actually, no, I forgot something. The actual third 6-star that I got was Helliger. I got him before I pulled on any banner because I got the top operator tag. And as I mentioned in my second top operator tag video, I, at the time, did not know that you could combine tags in recruitment. So I just picked it blind, and it gave me Helliger, which is quite cool because I actually really like him. Definitely not disappointed having pulled that, although if I could go back, I would have actually looked at the tags, and if there was an option for Silver Ash or Saria, I would have tried to go for one of them instead. So yes, anyways, back on track. Got that really lucky Aya pull. This is the luckiest this account has ever been. Then I got Ashe. That was also very lucky, although I had the pulls to go for Ashe. At that point, I thought, okay, I'm just going to save everything because I want to get Calcet. And at the time, Skadi actually wasn't a top priority. The idea in my head was you're not getting Skadi unless you get 300 pulls. Right? It's that limited operator banner brain going on where you just think the worst. And I'm someone who always thinks very pessimistically in terms of my luck, because I am notoriously, amongst my friends, I'm notoriously unlucky when it counts. When it doesn't count, like my alt account, then I'm insanely lucky. But when it counts, luck is very rarely on my side. Arknights is one of the few games where I've had some good luck. So after Ashe, I saved everything for Calcet. That's also when I believe, because I really liked the event and I got the characters I wanted, the banner itself was very generous. The event was really good. I thought, I actually want to support this game. And that's when I spent the first bit of money, which was getting the monthly card. And I still get the monthly card at the moment. So that's the only thing I put money into, except for the 6-star selector ticket. I bought one once, which is when I got Thorns from the Undertides event. And I pulled Calcet and Skadi. Didn't take that many pulls to get them, quite surprisingly. And I intend to get at least one more ticket to get Mudrock if I don't pull her before then. And then after Undertides, because I came in under budget, I ended up pulling on the standard banner that was there at the same time to try and get, because it had Silver Ash and Mountain. And my rule with standard banners is you never pull unless you want both of the 6 stars. It doesn't matter which one you get, you're okay with that. And Silver Ash was in the gold certificate store. So I thought, I'll pull. If I get Mountain, I stop and I buy Silver Ash. If I get Silver Ash, I'll still stop and I'll just wait for future opportunities to get Mountain. But, I ended up pulling him and I got Silver Ash from the store. However, it took me quite a lot of pulls to get Mountain because along the way, I got Passenger. The worst 6-star in the game, although he is getting a few buffs in future, and I actually do genuinely want to use him and make some content using Passenger, and I think I've got some fun ideas, so I think he'll actually be quite fun to use. Yep, so I ended up getting Silver Ash, Mountain, and a free Passenger along the way, and Magellan is my most recent acquisition, and just before her I got Nightingale. These two were through Top Operator, so the second Top Operator tag took about 6 months for her to appear again. The best option I had was to pick Medic plus Top Operator, And then I got another top up with a terrible set of accompanying tags. The only guarantee was Chen. Don't want Chen. So I just went, all right, I'll go blind. And so I got Magellan, who was a moderate priority operator that I will make use of in the future. Very happy about that. Those are my 6 stars. I do not have that many. I'm sure that other YouTubers who make Arknights videos, you look at their accounts, they're way more oppressive accounts than mine. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Blaze. Blaze I got when she came out in the Gold Certificate Store, her first appearance there. That was actually the first operator that I saved up for from the Gold Store. Similarly, when I started getting into the game, that's when I started to understand the Gold Certificate Store, how it worked, how we could predict what was coming out. As for 5 stars, so I started with Texas. I got her as the 5-star on the starter banner, and a Firewatch as well, who was on the limited banner alongside Susan. I got Project Red from recruitment. I got Spectre from recruitment. Spectre, she gave me a false impression of the rarity of 5 stars in recruitment. Because getting a 5-star using 3-star tags is very rare. It's a 1 in 200 chance, roughly. I got her very early on in my attempts of locking melee AoE or guard AoE. I got her maybe on like the 10th pull of that. And I was like, oh, fantastic. And I thought that was normal, to have a pretty decent chance of getting a 5-star. No, the odds of getting a 5-star are so incredibly low. Yes, give me a false impression there. Warfarin, I really gunned for Warfarin and Telopsis. Actually, Telopsis is one of my white whales. Still have not managed to get her. As you can see, Warfarin's got increased potential. That's because I keep getting Warfarin instead of Telopsis. Some more Texas from recruitment. Lots of Firewatch from recruitment. These are some of my favorite characters, so I definitely focus on getting more copies when I can. Lapland I got from the Mountain Silver Ash banner, which was one of the other reasons why I pulled on that banner, because it had my most wanted 5-star that I didn't have at the time. Meteor, she came from the Surtur banner as well. Bison, he was my best tank. In fact, he actually still is. Yes, Bison is my best tank at the moment. I don't have Hoshiguma, don't have Saria, don't have Nyan. I got nothing. Bison is my best tank, and I got him for free. And as you can see, he's got no potential. That's how little attention I paid to this game. I looked at the rewards from completing the missions and I saw, oh, there's a free character. I'll just get him and then I'll be done with the event, because I thought events were for more veteran players. I didn't even think to farm the stages, those early stages. Derna, she was one of my most used operators as well. And my Vanguard squad is Texas, Myrtle, and at some point you'll see Korea. Perfumer, one of my most used operators. Absolutely love her giving passive healing to your entire squad across the entire map. So that's the context of my account. Now with that in mind, we're going to look at what it is I'm going to plan for. Now that Past Volk has shown you the account tour, it's time to look at my future plans with Future Volk, because I am re-recording everything from here on out because it took so long to edit. Thanks to all the crazy amount of content and other videos that I had to make, it ended up being quite outdated. I'll be using Tier List Maker to keep track of the different priorities across the different operators that I'll be going for, how I'm prioritizing things, why I go for certain operators and such. For me, this is a lot of fun. And before we go into the new ones, I just want to quickly bring up the old one. So this is the last time I did it. The newest announced operator at the time, I believe, was Salech. And as you can see, since then, I've managed to obtain many of these operators, and also having used several of these more since then, their priorities are going to change. Before we get into it, I'm just going to give a quick rundown of the different tiers. So the top tier is my top priority. These are the ones that I am actively going for, actively saving for. I skip over everything else to get these operators in my top tier. High are ones I also go for, and the only way I don't pull for them is if it would somehow interfere with a top tier operator. Moderate, these are the ones where if I have a bit of leeway, a bit of room to pull, I might put some resources into them, but my hopes aren't particularly high. Low, these are the ones that are in the would be nice to have, and I will probably never get them unless through sheer luck. But they just would be nice to have, and I do often borrow them from the friends list. Recruit, these are mainly just the 5 stars that I'm looking to get from recruitment or other free means, such as the 5-star selector tickets. And then potentials, I'm just using it as a way to keep track of who still needs potential out of my lower rarity operators. So let's start with Summer Chen. Summer Chen, limited operator coming up very soon. I'm recording this just after the announcement of the live stream for the 2nd anniversary. I originally recorded this bit onwards shortly after I made my 6-month banner schedule video. For me, I'm not really bothered by her design. The fact that she looks just like a beach skin doesn't really bother me. I'm not one who's really swayed by the appearance of operators very much. If there's an operator that looks cool, I think that's nifty, but if an operator looked cool and was pretty terrible to use, I probably wouldn't use them unless it was some sort of challenge thing. An aesthetic deterrent for me would be someone's voice, much more likely than someone's visuals, because ear grating voice work, e.g. Bubble, that's something that just gets on my nerves as I would be using the character. That said, I do sympathize with those, particularly Chen fans, who wanted something a bit grander for a limited operator. I would have liked to have seen some sort of water mech where she pulls out different guns on the mech. You could have kept the skills the exact same. That would have been really cool, and they could have had some advanced rigging to do some really great animations, and it would have looked really good on the home screen. I would have liked something like that, and it would have looked a bit more unique, but as it is, I don't really mind. Now, one thing to note, I don't keep track of welfare operators, anything that's free. I don't bother keeping track of those because I know I'm going to get them. I don't need to worry about it. Next, Angelina, she goes into moderate. Now, she is much better than a moderate tier operator. It's just that I already have Suzerain, who's already well built, so I don't really need Angelina that badly. However, she's still moderate and not low because she does something unique compared to Suzu. I really like operators that do something unique. You could be weaker than another operator in the same class, but if you do something unique, I will always find use for you. Then we've got Red, easily one of the best 5 stars in the game, one of my favorites. She is very close to max potential for me, so it shouldn't be long before I get max potential of her. Similar story with Firewatch. Again, she's got that unique Nuka tag from recruitment, and Texas. Next, Phantom. Now, Phantom, if we look at the old list, he was on low over there. However, I got him on the very first banner that I pulled on my Arknights China account, and I have since had him. He's been like a core operator to my team, and I have since absolutely fallen in love with using Phantom. I think he's really cool. Initially, I thought he was just going to be sort of a combination of Gravel plus Red, but slightly better, being a 6-star. However, he does quite a few things differently while still leaving Red and Gravel to do their own thing. I'd really like to get him. However, he's not a top priority, but he is up there in the moderate, and I will talk a little bit later how I hopefully can get him. Bagpipe. Now, Bagpipe was high in the old one, and I may as well just leave her there as the last high operator of that tier, because she's next debut operator in the gold certificate store, and I'm guaranteed to buy her. I've got the certificates ready. Mudrock is my white whale of a 6-star. So she's the one that I've missed out on several times. I could have re-rolled for Mudrock, but I don't know why I didn't. And in fact, I really should have tried to re-roll for Rosmontes plus Mudrock at the time. I borrow her quite a lot, particularly since I bought Thorns. She's now my most borrowed operator. Now, as for getting her, I don't think I will be able to spare any resources. She was just on a standard banner before Undertides, and the next time she appears, my guess will probably be either alongside her summer skin during the Gavial rerun event, which will be a very popular skin, although I'm not a big fan because it gets rid of Mudrock's unique design. Now, I definitely wouldn't be able to put any resource into that because of the limited banner. If she doesn't appear there, though, it'll be right before the Radiant Knurl banner, which I am also prioritizing, so I won't be able to pull for her. However, she is going to be on the next 6-star selector ticket, which is where I will go for her, barring any crazy luck. Saria. I would absolutely love to be able to get her through the top operator tag. I would be willing to get one more top operator tag for Saria and then never get one again, just to get her. Excellent operator. I love the utility that she brings. I have her on my alt account. Of course, the alt account luck means I got her for free from recruitment within the first few weeks of playing, amongst 4 other top operator tags on the alt account. I 100% want her on my own account so that I never have to borrow her. Now, if I don't get her from top operator tag, which I don't think I will, because you can never, ever, ever rely on top operator tag, I will get her through the gold certificate store. Okay, so Salek, I love her design. I like her abilities. Having used her on China, she's great to use. She's a very interesting and involved Vanguard to use. There's some very interesting strategies that you can pull off. Yes, for me, she's absolutely a high priority. I will certainly be pulling on her. Actually, hang on, let me think. Yes, she will be the first new release operator that I pull for at release that wasn't limited. Yes, every other new release I've had to skip because I was saving. At first I saved everything for Ash, and then I saved everything for Undertides, and so I had to skip over all the other new releases. And so Salek will actually be my first solo banner at release. Now, obviously, if you've seen my recent pulls on the Palace banner, you know that's not exactly true, but that was unintended. I do not claim credit. All right, next we come to some of the legacy limited operators. So we've got W and Rosmontis. Now these are two operators that I've borrowed numerous times. In fact, W I have on my alt account. Again, the crazy alt account luck. While going for Skadi and Kalsa on the alt account, there was W in the middle of that. Why could that not be on my main account? Why? Very fun operators to use, particularly W. I love her sticky bomb ability. It is so fun to use. She is an absolute ace in annihilation missions. So I'd very much like to get them. However, being legacy operators, they're restricted by the limited banner pity system, which requires 300 pulls to guarantee. How I think of limited operators that you don't pull at release. If you don't get them, I just like to assume that I am never going to get them. If I do, it's, you know, a 1 in a million. I'll put them both in low, but it would be very nice to have them. However, I'll never save 300 pulls for a legacy limited operator. It's just too many pulls. Rosa was not on my previous schedule of operators that I was saving up for. However, I have used her a few times and she's very fun, and she does that unique thing that I talked about. The way she attacks, the way her skill works, how she's focused on dealing with heavy enemies, that's completely unique. It's very interesting. So I very much like using her. And she has that excellent masterpiece skin coming up, which I made a video set to the greatest song ever, if you want to have a look at that. So I would like to get her. However, she is a low priority. I can't justify her over anyone above her. So then we come to Saga, and I'll do Flametail at the same time because they're both very similar and I would like to get either of them. Saga is particularly great for anti-rush strategies if there's a swarms. This was shown off no better than in the Originium Dust event, where she could two-man the final boss that kept spewing those little slugs. Flametail, she's a bit like Texas Plus Siege, and you can try her out during the Near Light event. She's quite fun to use. I wouldn't mind getting either, although I would prefer to get Saga because I think she's absolutely hilarious with all the random food stuff that she yells when she uses her abilities. I'm going to leave them both low. Schwartz, she's also in the low because I like snipers a lot. I would like to have her. Then we have Manticore. The chameleon type units combo very well together. You can just have a line of them and they will just damage enemies as they walk through. So apart from Kirara, who is frankly worthless, you can never really have enough of these chameleon units. And they all do something slightly different. So I think it's worth having each one of them. I would like to eventually get her from recruitment. Shining. Shining goes into moderate. She's very strong in many situations, particularly when you need to tank some heavy hits, and I absolutely love her design. I think Shining is a very, very cool looking character, so I very much would like to get her. Dusk, same situation as the other Legacy Limited. She's a cool operator. I love the look of her skills. She's my go-to borrow when I need an AoE caster, particularly on new accounts, but I'm assuming I'm never going to get her. Ark. Ark is mainly there for the buff squads, mainly for the memes. Mulberry. Now, you can't get her from recruitment, so I'm just going to I'll put her down into potentials because I intend to hopefully get a few potentials of her when she releases with Salek. She'll be a new healer type that focuses on healing elemental damage, introduced in Chapter 9, which, by the way, is a very big threat, so dealing with it is highly recommended. So I definitely want to get her at least one, maybe a few potentials. I'll see. It depends on how much use I make of her. Then we have Telopsis. I've had several opportunities to get Telopsis, but I keep getting Warfarin instead. Once I already got Warfarin, I didn't need her again. So at this point, I think with Telopsis, I'll probably just choose her with the 5-star selector ticket. Silence is another 5-star medic that I'm looking forward to having. because she does that unique thing that I was talking about. She's not a very high priority even amongst the 5 stars, but she does something slightly different, and I find that really interesting. And I can absolutely see some very interesting strategies on certain stages in using her. And along the same line, I will bring up Liscam, because Liscam and Silence share one of the free 5-star tickets that we're going to get for the summer event. On the ticket, you can also choose red or chromatics. I've already got red, and as much as I want more potentials, new operator is better than potentials. However, between Liscam and Silence, Liscam is stronger and more useful, so I will have to prioritize her. However, the ticket doesn't expire, so I'll probably hold on to it, and then whoever I get first, I will then use the ticket to choose the other one. Then we come to Whisperrain. Now, Whisperrain can't be recruited at the moment. I would very much like to get her because her healing that provides resistance is very useful in certain situations. She also has a great free skin coming up. Blemishine. Now, Blemishine, love her design, love all the unique things that she brings. She's got a lot of utility, lots of flexibility, combos particularly well with certain operators such as Mudrock. So I would like to get her. However, she can't go any higher than moderate because I just have to make some choices. Fartooth does the unique thing again and is a sniper. I absolutely love snipers, but just like Blemishine, I can't justify more than a moderate tier. Blue Poison was actually on my previous planning list. However, after having used her extensively on my China account, if I ever did get her on my global, I don't see myself putting any resources into her. Not because she's not a great operator. I don't see her doing anything that I don't already have. It'd be cool to have her for the collection, but I won't use her. So she's got to get taken off. Elysium, very good operator, definitely a must-have for veteran accounts. However, to me, he's just going to stay in the low area. While he's absolutely phenomenal in certain situations, I've already got plenty, plus I'm intending to get 2 other 6-star Vanguards. So he's one where it's just like, if I get him, I'll work him into the team. If not, then it's no big loss for me. Spectre, I want some more potentials for her. AoE guards 4-star and up are inherently fantastic because of their 3 block plus AoE on every attack. Spectre's unique with her immortality, absolutely worth getting more of. Pinecone, one of the best 4-stars in the game. 100% worth getting to maximum potential. Same story with Jay. I need a few more potentials on both of them. Roberta, don't know if I want high potentials on her, but I want to use her when she comes out, and then we'll see how much do I want to raise her potentials. But then again, she's a 4-star, and you generally get max potential on 4 stars given time. La Pluma, a 5-star that I'm very much looking forward to from the Summer Banner, what they call a Reaper Guard. Can't be healed by allies, but she hits AoE and heals for every enemy hit. Sora was on my list. However, now with Skadi, I don't really see any purpose in her, and I'm not a particular fan of the character, so she's off the list. Radiant Nerl, top priority. She's limited. If you want to get the limited operator, you have to increase that priority. With Radiant Nerl, for me, love her design. She does that unique thing. She breaks the deployment limit, which is one of the most unique things in the game. Absolutely want to get her. There's nothing about Radiant Nerl I dislike. So when I originally recorded this video, Gnosis had only just been announced for Arknights China, and I hadn't had a chance to A, pull him on my account and then use him extensively, but now that I'm re-recording this after the fact, I can add him to my plan. And so Gnosis is going to go straight into high. He's far enough away that there will probably be a moment of reassessment, most likely in about 3 months, shortly before the Radiant Nerl banner, and I'm almost certain that he will go into top unless something went absolutely disastrously wrong in trying to get the current top operators. He's extremely fun to use. He combos very well with the other operators that released alongside him. He's a powerful operator, most likely S+ tier for those who are willing to use him properly, so I'm almost certainly going to put him in the top tier. Speaking of the combo, there's Aurora, who's on his banner, and hopefully I just get her along the way while pulling for Gnosis, because she combos stupidly well with him. She does so much damage when comboed with him, it's nuts. Then we've got the robots, which obviously I would like to cap, so we're going to put all the robots into the potentials area. You get one of them for free, and the rest you've got to get from recruitment. I hate recruiting these things. I hate how tags can drop at all, and I hate how robots require 3 hours 50, which has a very high chance of dropping the tag. And on my main account, I've only successfully recruited a robot, I think once and failed 6 times. It's probably going to take forever for me to cap the potential on these robots. By the way, obviously the alt account has succeeded 5 out of 6 times. Typical. But I would eventually like to max the potential of these because they're very useful utility operators. They can fit into pretty much any squad when the situation calls for them, so they'd be great to have. This is my plan, right? These are the operators that I'm going for. So with that in mind, let's now look at what am I going to be pulling on in the upcoming schedule of banners. So the upcoming schedule looks like this. Now, obviously, Suzu's already ended and Palace is in the store right now. And then if you could just imagine Gnosis added right there. So I'm going to go into Photoshop because there's no other software I can think of that would do it as quickly and on the fly and as off the cuff as I need it. So we'll just do it over here. All right, Fartooth will go into the maybe area, being one of those moderate operators. Joint operations as well will go into maybe because it depends, and it's actually something I want to talk about in a moment to do with that. Mountain, no, because I've already got him, so we'll leave that over there. Palace, well, goes into no, but if you've seen the video, you know what happened. Radiant Knurl, absolutely in my high priority. Salih, love that operator. Going to pull for it for sure. Summer Chen, absolutely my current priority. Suzerain, I've already got her, so we'll cancel out of her. Thorns, probably my favorite character, but I've already got you, so no need to pull more of you. As much as I like to get you max potential, I can't afford it, so I'll leave you to the side. And then Gnosis, given that he's so far away, he's almost certainly going to be a yes. So I'll hover in between the two, but I'm pretty confident he'll be a yes. Blemishine will go into maybe as well. And then we've got Eunectes, who is an interesting niche operator to use. However, I don't see myself using her enough to justify pulling for her. So she's going to go no. And there's also someone on my friends list with a fully maxed out, fully built Eunectes that I can borrow at any time. So obviously we've got the Summer Chen banner. That's my next priority, followed by Sailor, and then Radiant Knurl. That's the timeline over the next few months, is prioritizing those three. Then in the maybes, this is where I have to make my decisions. So I would like to put a little bit into Blemishine. However, if I do have some spare, I see myself leaning more towards Fartooth. New operators are better to prioritize because the older operator will be added to recruitment and the gold certificate store much sooner, as well as obviously the 6-star selector tickets. There's also that joint operations banner. And the joint operations banner has 3 operators I wouldn't mind getting, and Phantom, an operator I would really like to get. However, and this is what I alluded to earlier, the gold certificate store schedule, Phantom will hit the gold certificate store, I believe, 1 standard banner, most likely, after this banner. He released for us at the time that Suzerain released for China. Because of that timing, it might be that I don't end up pulling on the joint operations at all. I think it will depend on how many gold certificates I have. If I have enough to get Phantom, I might end up skipping the banner altogether. Even though there's lots of operators on there that I want, if I have to prioritize, I could just buy Phantom from the gold certificate store shortly after, and then keep those pulls for Gnosis. Before having used Gnosis, I was 100% going to roll on that Joint Operations 5 banner. Because Joint Operations banners, as long as you want all 4 of the operators, like you don't mind who you get, they are the best value banners in the game. The more I use Gnosis, the more I want to get him on my global account. And so unless I'm extremely lucky with Knurl, I will probably have to skip the Joint Operations banner. This decision will also be very much influenced by the next limited operator announcement, likely to be for the Chinese New Year. If that limited operator is one that I want, then there's no chance of me pulling on the Joint Operations banner, and I'll just buy Phantom with the gold certificates. I might pull to the guarantee and see if I get something. I don't know. It really depends on how many. This is really pulling on the Joint Operations banner is really a 50-50 for me at the moment. Pulling on Blemishine is maybe a 20% chance. Like, I have to be very lucky in order to pull on that banner. She is set for appearance in the gold certificate store at the end of 2022. Considering she's not a top priority for me, I wouldn't mind waiting that long just to guarantee to get her at the cost of no pulls. I'd be much more likely to get Fartooth. Yeah, so Gnosis really threw a bit of a wrench in the works because I really like him. I think he's going to get a high recommendation from me. The appearance of Gnosis has basically bumped my 3 maybes down by about 25% likelihood of having any resources put into them. And in fact, as I'm talking myself more and more into wanting to put him into that top tier. In fact, you know what? We're going to go back here, and Gnosis, I'm just going to preemptively move you to the top tier. Barring anything weird that happens between now and then, he'll stay in that top tier, and I will absolutely recruit him on my main account. I very much enjoy using him, so yep, let's just put him in the top tier. Let's just get it out of the way now. I've basically hyped myself and talked myself into it. With that stunning last second, absolutely not a surprise twist, we now see both my priority list for operators and my plan of what I'm going to be pulling over the next 6 or so months on my main account. It's the 2 limited operators, Salak in between, and then Gnosis at the end, with maybe a Fartooth or a joint operations, though most likely not, unless I'm very lucky. I think my luck has run out, so I'm expecting worst case scenario on every single one of these banners. I hope you don't experience the worst case scenario in whatever your plan is. I hope you found this video interesting and it's given a good insight into how I think about what I'm planning, what I'm going for. As I've said several times before, I really enjoy all this in-depth planning and sort of overthinking what I'm going to do with my resources. For me, it's a big part of the game. It's part of the fun. I hope you enjoy this. Do like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one.